Breakfast. Remember, the hashtag is TV47 Breakfast on Facebook and on Twitter. The SMS line is 22047 Bilibili Sufuri Nesaba. We are looking at what's happening in the nation through the eye of the papers, and we have Dr. David Olesenkog, who is a nominated member of parliament and who's also the chair for PWDs. Thank you very much. We still have Ben Pt2, who is a political analyst, and we have Peter Njamba Yameru. Karibu sana, it's been a long time. Let us first receive a call from Nyamira and hear what the viewer has to say. Hello, TV47. Well, we have lost that viewer. Remember, you can call in live. The phone call number is at the bottom of your screen. And also, I will be reading your SMSs on 22047. All right, but before we look at what you are saying, Eldoret BBI meetings called off, says Tolgos, and fear of violence and a push for President Uhuru Kenyatta to join in and attend the BBI rallies has now led to the rallies that were organized in Eldoret and Nakuru to be called off. One member of parliament for Belgood, Nelson Koech, actually said BBI was born in Bomas, it crawled in Kisii, stood in Kakamega, walked in Kitui, knocked down in Narok, and buried in Meru. Daktari, my only concern in the beginning was building bridges initiative and violence. Isn't this ironical?
It is totally ironical. And you know, building bridges initiative was actually a very good idea, conceived by our president, so that we can bring Kenyans together through a conversation of what have been ailing the country. But then it was hijacked by people with political interests who are aligning themselves for 2022. And that is why you hear them pronouncing some demonic incarnation. You know, when you start talking about reggae, you know, yani, you have gone around the country, you have not found any Christian song or any Muslim song. You have not found any patriotic song like Tushangilie Kenyatta. If you have decided on a cult called Rastafarians who worship idols in the name of Haile Selassie, sakramenti yao ni banki, wakati sakramenti yetu ni damu na body of Jesus Christ. So it was actually hijacked. And you know, I want to warn Kenyans, when you are being told to say words that you don't understand, you don't know the meaning. Sometimes it is incarnation.
Someone would say, before you conclusively say that it's an incarnation, that those are political statements, like we had bedroom, somebody.
Let me tell you, bedroom you can translate into your mother tongue. Let me tell you, when we said as Jubilee, tuko pamoja, as our slogan, it means you can translate to Kikalenjin, Kimikibagenge, Tuehamwe, Kititenebo, name any Kenyan language, including Luo. You can say one Kachachel, you know, name any language. Even the former president, Moi, Nyayo, you know, it is footsteps. It's something that you can translate into your mother tongue. But when people come up with some slogans that we cannot understand in this world, that we cannot translate, like TBPTL, what is TBPTL in your mother tongue? What is it? What is unworkable? What was it in mother tongue? You know, we may be recruiting Kenyans into a very dangerous demonic cult. You know, tell us what we can understand. Have a slogan that can be understood by Kenyans. Don't lead Kenyans into a cult. And that is why we are saying nobody can stop reggae, but God can stop reggae.
Are those not political statements? Let me hear from Njamba. Njamba, karibu sana into this conversation. I know this is a topic that is very close, a conversation that is close to your heart as a youth. Daktari says that, well, before we look at what's going on with the BBI right now, we look at the statements that are being thrown around. Somebody might look at it as political statements that are meant to woo followers into attending the meetings, right? What would you have to say about that? Let us first of all get to hear from Omondi from Nairobi. Hello, TV47. Hello, TV47.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hi, Omondi, I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Right.
Pongezi kwanza kwa mjadala ya leo. Yes, me I'm concerned as a taxi driver.
Right.
I sit in the board of DTF, Digital Taxi Forum, Digital Transport Forum. You find like now that this plane jetted into this country, and you know, number one, the people trace the taxi people. Hello?
Yes, go on.
you find people at risk are taxi people.
All right.
Because you are carrying someone, you have to put a C, you have to roll the windows up. And you find when a fellow Kenyan has decided to rescue this country, it's being fired or is being suspended.
Right.
Where are we as a country and as a common wananchi?
Right.
Number two, an example in Kisumu. Kisumu, you find this online taxi they're operating.
Right.
And someone at KA is colliding with the normal people, frustrated young Kenyans at the airport. Whereas we as a common wananchi. So me, I'll request Mheshimiwa Sanko, please help us.
Right.
Najua uko na wananchi, and you always speak your mind.
Right.
Hii issue ya Kisumu pia tunaomba uangalie. Hii mambo ya digital taxi people kuarasiwa Kisumu, na mambo ya NIS, NYS, now airport kucollide ili washike watu wa taxi wadogo. Naomba utusaidie pia hapo. Asante sana.
Well, thank you very much, Omondi. Keep watching TV47 and do remember to call upon the youth to tune in right here. It's our agenda by us in a language we understand.
I'll assure Omondi that I will have a bill on those issues that you have spoken.
All right.
Especially for the taxi drivers.
Yes.
Yes.
Who are being harassed.
That is an assurance I can give Omondi.
All right. Well, Omondi, I know you have heard that clearly, but there's something again before we proceed with the BBI, because I believe this is very important. Daktari, he has talked about, he's taken us a bit back to coronavirus and the fact that they are now interacting with these foreigners from the airport, and they think that this is risky. And it brings me back to the question, are we safe with the self-quarantine and without not so much awareness going on or conversations heightened? Because I think he was addressing you.
No, we are not. We are not safe at all as a country, and that is why I've given my own assurance to Omondi that whatever that you have spoken, including the safety of the taxi drivers, and all Kenyans generally, and that particular digital platform, will be a bill in Parliament within the next, let's say, 2 months, because I have also to do some little of research. I have to involve researchers from Parliament. I have to involve lawyers, because I'm not a lawyer myself, so that we can come up with a bill that is suitable.
All right. Well, Jambo Yamiru, Daktari says these statements are risky statements spiritually. What do you have to say about that in concerning the BBI?
I have to say this, and let me be very clear on this. The BBI process, the one we went to launch at Bomas, it was a very good document from the word go. And as Kenyans, we saw it as a good way, because initially it was a motive to unite the Kenyans. It was about inclusion of all Kenyans. But now it is very unfortunate. We have some political conmen who have hijacked the process of BBI. And they have instilled their own interest in that document. What
do you mean when you say political conmen?
I mean guys who have some political ambitions, but they are hiding behind the process of BBI. Whatever AGI and the committee sat down and brought to us at the Bomas of Kenya, it was a very good document. But now what we experience today, it is not as the document that it was. The second thing I would say this, because I'm a young person. The process of BBI and the BBI rallies, I don't think they have inclusion for the young people. Because now you can see like the one we had in Meru, and I'm very thankful that the people from Mount Kenya region, they stopped the reggae. That one is something I can comment about. And I would say this, that the process of BBI and the rallies of BBI, why can't we have a common youth from any part of the country, as opposed to them that are representing the issues of the youth? Because if you're telling me you're representing the issues of the youth and you're over 40 years, surely are we talking something sensible? You should pick a person, maybe between the age of where the block of a youth starts up to where it ends. Pick a youth, let the youth represent the issues of the BBI in those forums.
Were you there at Meru, I know?
Yeah.
When you say that people from Mount Kenya stopped reggae, what really happened?
I mean, what people did, they just expressed their hearts. That these things, whatever you're telling us.
No, in Jamba, you walked out with the Moses Kuria. Speak the truth. And the truth
as Mheshimiwa said, we expressed our hearts and we opened up our mind and we walked away because we could not sit down and continue being oppressed by people and see we are being oppressed in this sense and we are pretending that we are okay. And even the 500 that people are being given, of which some people carteled in and we didn't receive the actual amount of money.
Well, how much did you receive instead of 500?
It was 500, but that was not the intended amount of money. I'm not very sure, but I want to guess that was not the intended amount.
So masses were being paid to be ferried to the ground. You know, that was totally illegal because I am in parliament. It is us who appropriate funds. We did not appropriate any funds in this country to be used to ferry people or to buy funds in political rallies. And you know what Mjambawa Meru is saying? What have BBI to do with Nikisema BBI, Semeni Baba? Which Baba? I only have two fathers. Okay. Heavenly Father and my biological father. Let's get to hear from Ngetich. Ngetich, fear of violence in the push for BBI and the conversation about the rhetoric that's pushing now BBI, that's spiritually risky according to Njamba Meru and Daktari. And who is stopping reggae? What do you have to say about this, BBI as it is right now?
First of all, Corazon, I'll say that I'm not a fan of reggae and I'm not subscribed to it. And then the BBI report was initially, when it was first launched at the Bomas of Kenya, it was a good report. We read it through the social platforms. But going forward, we saw the speeches at the Kisi rally. We saw the other one at Kakamega, the other one in Narok, and then recently in Garissa, and then on Meru. But if you look at the BPA report, most of the politicians, or some of the politicians, have used or have hijacked the BPI rallies to derive their motive or their political interest of 2022 succession. If you look at the way these rallies are being arranged or organized, even the speakers, you can see some people are being seen to be the less, or they cannot even speak, or they cannot even articulate the issues of the people. And you see, these are the leaders who are elected by the people. The likes of Kina Moses Kuria, you saw what happened in Gitui. You saw what happened to even the senator of Meru. He wasn't even given the seat to sit in the dais. So this thing is a scam, and we are not even going to accept it, because if you look at the speculation or the propaganda that is now that this coming weekend, they were supposed to be rallying in Nakuru. But what is in the newspapers is there is perceived to be, there'll be temperatures and political. We've come far as a nation, and we are not going to accept to be taken back to the year 2007, 2008. We need to respect the Constitution, and we'll have, we need to see the leaders coming together as proposed in the BPI, the issue of inclusivity. But what we are seeing is divisiveness and politics.
Okay. Dr.
You know, I did not attend any of those BBI meetings because, first of all, my party leader and my boss must attend so that I will be there, together with the deputy party leader of Jubilee. They have never attended any. So I don't have any reason as a nominated member by Jubilee to attend any of those meetings. But I know there is a task force that was gazetted by my president. And that is why I went to the task force myself. Present issues of persons with disability and issues that affect Kenyans. I said, as the 6 million persons with disability in this country, we support fully BBI, 100%. We also do support expansion of the executive, so that we have an executive prime minister and 2 deputies, so that we have 5 positions in the apex of leadership, so that we can bring inclusion. And inclusion does not mean let Kablai. We have 44 tribes in this country. If we bring 5 tribes, we have excluded 39. So that will still be exclusion. And we want inclusion. So inclusion will mean, let us bring the affirmative action groups who are women, youth, and persons with disability. That is why our suggestion have been, if the president is a man, the deputy president is a woman, the prime minister position reserved for a person with disability. The deputy prime minister 1 will be a youth. The deputy prime minister 2 will be somebody from the marginalized communities, so that we can bring inclusion. We will also have to include, now you know who is qualified to be a prime minister and who is not. Now we have to include again that the age limit, so that when we talk of a youth, is somebody under 35 years of age, because that is our constitution. We also include the age limit for any politician in the BBI. Let us if our civil servants are retiring at the age of 65, why not politicians? The politicians are also state officers. So let kila mtu afunge firago at the age of 65. They retire. Because medically, by the age of 70, you have reached what we call intellectual menopause, incapable of giving birth to any new idea. So why do you pretend that you can recycle octogenarians simply because they are politicians?
Someone said octogenarians are wise.
They are wise. We have them at home. They behave like children. Because that is age. You know, every organ in our body will degenerate as we age. At the age of 70, your kidneys are in problem, your heart is in problem, so is your brain.
Can we entirely ignore them, even as we call them?
We will not ignore them, and we have not ignored them as a country. That's why we have cash transfer to any person
politically and in leadership.
Years.
Politically and in
we
leadership,
are saying
being that they have served the country for.
That is a political fund. Cash transfer to any person in Kenya at the age of 70 years and above. They are all under cash transfer. Whether you are Raila, whether you are who, even Mimi. When I reach 70 years, I'll enroll myself into cash transfer because imesemekana ni ya wazee ambao wamefikisha 70 years and above. Now, to Jamba Wameru, who was saying the issue of political conmanship. You know, we don't have to use very harsh words on some people. Let us be a bit gentle. Because political conmanship, there may be some truth in it. Because there was somebody who raised funds using M-Pesa pay bill number 672 to raise funds to pay teachers who are striking. They never paid those teachers. Iyo pyramid scheme, iyo pesa ilienda wapi? There was also another conman who raised funds for a repeat election. They never went for the repeat election. You remember the pay bill number? 791, you know, where was they? That fund. Ilienda wapi? So when Jamba Wameru is saying it's a bit harsh to say political conmanship, but you know, you know, if you have destroyed, you destroyed KANU, NDP, LDP, you have destroyed ODM, NASA, CORD, you know.
No, Terry, again, I'm coming back to you because what is happening even right now is now it's become politics, and the question is, why are we depending as a country? Because I, as a citizen, might not be interested so much in the politics. Why do we only have one wing driving the BBI agenda, knowing very well that maybe they have politicized the whole thing? Why do we not have people like you who are thinking differently about the BBI drive this conversation in another direction? But before we get there, Njamba, Mary Wamboi is asking you that inclusivity and creating positions, as Dr. has mentioned, also means bigger wage bill. Is that necessary? Because now we're going to have Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Ministers, we're going to have the youth involved, as he has mentioned, in women and all. Is it not equivalent to a bigger wage bill?
It is. I first admit it is, but then as a country, I think we're in a position whereby if you don't do this, for us as young people and the people with disabilities and those marginalized people, we might live in this country having not have enjoyed any position of leadership in this country. So I think, okay, let us not consider the value on it, but on the upper side of it, it will benefit us as people who are marginalized, the youths, as you have seen in the recent events. Now, because now I'm trying to assume where we are used to the under constitution. Like now we have a CS, Zach Kenodia, who was just appointed the other day. I want to believe he's a young man. But you see now, if we are using the other constitution, I think I don't think we are in that slot in between the ministers. But now you see what has happened. It has given us an opportunity where we can have inclusivity in between. All right, it looks like we are creating more job opportunities within government and public service. But do remember that you're watching us online as well, live streaming at TV47 KE, and on Twitter as well. You have the opportunity to call in live. The phone call line is also down there at the bottom of your screen. Mzee wa Busara unasema you're watching from Mombasa. Karibu sana. Do tell us what you think about this conversation. Fear of violence in the BBI report, or the push for the BBI report. Is that ironical as we speak? Ben Ngetich, another question that comes in right now.
still there is a question of money, because there's a lot of money being used into this and it's becoming politicized. And Kenyans are taking their reflection back to what happened within the periods we had post-election violence and Kiambara, for instance, and with fear of violence being mentioned, areas that are very charged like Eldoret being mentioned within this conversation. Is it a risky conversation? Does this not mean that a certain wing of representatives should drive this agenda deliberately towards another direction?
Corazon, it's untrue that Rift Valley is a high volatile area, because I think most of these people are just they're just naive, and they are trying to perceive that Rift Valley or even Nakuru, Eldoret is perceived to be the interest of, but I don't think so. Those statements were just malicious, and I want to say that we've seen so many leaders from Eldoret. They've come out, they've called the president, they've said that not again are we going back to the years of 2007, 2008, post-election violence. People have learned to live as family, as friends, harmoniously, because Eldoret town is a cosmopolitan area where we have all the tribes. The same case to Narok, Kericho. So the issues of perception that Eldoret or the Rift Valley is perceived to be the hotbed of violence is untrue. And I would like to condemn and say that Eldoret is just like Nairobi. Eldoret is just like Meru. All these leaders, they should have a chance and go to Eldoret and air their views.
Ben, we've had rallies in Kisii, Kakamega, Mombasa, Kitui, Narok, but we haven't had this happen. Fear of violence or the rallies themselves being postponed. The one that's in Eldoret and the one that was being planned in Nakuru are the first ones to be responded. Doesn't that mean something?
There's nothing. There's that. I've said, Corazon, those are just but malicious speculation, because recently I was in Eldoret, I was in Nakuru. People are saying, we are waiting for this PPA report to come so that we can also articulate our views and our interests. But the cases of being there'll be a lot of violence, there's nothing like that. It's just rumors, and those are rumor mongers that are just spewing the hate. And
okay. Dr. Ben says that it's rumors that there's no fear of violence. But again, the question that I was asking you initially, if the wing that's currently driving the BBI agenda has politicized it to the extent that now we're using the terms we're using it up to now, what is preventing another wing of representatives to take up this agenda and push it towards a direction that would be helpful and beneficial truly to the citizens?
You know, the wing that I belong politically is a very peaceful wing. It's a wing that believes in Almighty God, and is a wing that believes in cohesion of this country and peace in this country. And that is why some of us have decided not to attend. Because if we do attend, and somebody like Ombando wake up and say, nikisema baba, sema, nikisema BBI, sema baba. Alafu mimi niamke nikisema BBI, sema Hasla, ama sema Ruto. Alafu mwingine aamka aseme, nikisema BBI, sema Wiper, ama Watermelon. Mwingine aseme, nikisema BBI, sema, you know, there are those guys who normally. Anyway, what we are saying is that it will actually divide us. And that is why some of us have decided not to attend until we get clear signal from our party leader and deputy party leader. And the signal that we are waiting is for them to be able to attend this BBI. And the other issue is that people are going, people who hold no position of leadership in this country, who are in an amorphous kind of arrangement, and saying that there will be referendum in June. You know, there is only one house that will appropriate funds, one arm of government, and that's Parliament. We have no budget for referendum. We have not set aside those funds. So anybody who is telling Kenyans that there will be a referendum in June, we have to read the budget in June. We have already done our supplementary budget. We have not set aside funds for referendum. We will again have our budget in June. If we approve then funds for referendum, it will be from June henceforth. That is around August and so on. So they will, you know, this issue of referendum, it may not be there. And according to me, this one is just a legislative framework, sometimes that require only Parliament to implement. Once you give this document wills to enter Parliament, because there must be you must bring as a bill or as an act of parliament, you must bring it in a way that it can be accepted in parliament.
All right.
And there is a task force. That is why some of us have gone, held back and went to the task force itself. I've gone to the task force myself as a representative of persons with disability. I've gone to the task force as a pastoralist who have been marginalized for the years that we had had independence. Yes, through session paper number 10 of 1965. I've gone to say that I'm totally not agreeing with that session paper number 10, and that equalization fund should be used to the intended 14 counties of equalization. You know, now equalization fund was for our drafters of constitution so that we can bring back, or we can actually cancel the session paper number 10 of 1965 so that the marginalized communities can get something to bring them back in terms of development, so that they can bring them to the same level as the 20% landmass of Kenya that the session paper said that it is high potential areas. But now they have hijacked, they have said no, every constituency there is pockets of poverty, so the equalization fund should be divided by every constituency. And you know, equalization fund is for marginalization, not poverty. And poverty is very different from marginalization. So those are the views that we have taken to the task force, the gazetted task force. But hii ingine ya kukimbia hapa na pale, no. That one will divide Kenyans even further. And I just want to tell Kenyans, please see the signal from our head of state, our president, our party leader. If he will attend, all of us will be there.
All right. So if he will attend, then that means that maybe it will be less politicized?
Yeah. It will be less politicized because if all sides are there, they are present.
The conversation is...
The conversation will change now to issues that are affecting Kenya. Not issues that you must subscribe, you must recite some connotation, baba.
All right. I know that I've been holding your calls, but now you're free to call as we come to the tail end of this conversation. I will be now receiving your call. So if you tried calling during that moment when you're talking, now try calling again and ask your questions to Mheshimiwa or to the panelists who are here. We're talking about the BBI and the fact that now there is fear of violence within the organization of the rallies that were organized in Rift Valley. Hello, TV47. Hello, TV47.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm Nicholas Muredi.
Hello, Nicholas. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes, so sasa nataka kuchangia mambo ya leo.
Naam.
The BBI and the politics.
Naam.
And according to me, sema ya kwamba it is true that BBI has been politicized.
No.
Yeah, that's why you see that some members or even some leaders are not allowed to participate in the BBI.
No.
And if they happen to participate, when they speak out their mind,
right,
they are sent out of the meeting. For example, the one that happened in Meru.
Right.
Right. Was sent out after discussing or seeing the truth.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the truth must be seen about BBI. Right. If it is something that has been hidden, let them be open to us to realize what is it in them. Because I remember when it was being started, we were told that it must reach us the Mwananchi wa Kawaida so that we can read it. But as for now,
right.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Up to now,
right.
Sijaona BBI vile tuliambiwa tunaprintiwa tunapaswa kuiona huku nje. Mimi niko university hapa Laikipia. But sijaiona, tunahitaji kusoma tuone kama ndio the real yenye itatolewa after kuwa suspended ama nyingine.
All right. Thank you very much. Continue watching TV47 Breakfast. Yes.
Hello?
Yes. As you finish. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Continue watching TV47 Breakfast, and to tell the other youth that this is where we get to air our views the way we can. Apostle McVivian unasema you are with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, Daktari, I'm coming back to you to talk about one man, one vote, one shilling, and exactly what it means, because many Kenyans have not really captured that properly. But before that, Njamba and Ben, I'd like to hear your view on this. You are young men, influential in the areas that you come from, and you can actually drive a different conversation from your capacity. Yeah. I don't know if the call, we can receive that call. All right. I don't know if you, you can actually drive, you have the chance, the opportunity, I mean, in your position to drive this conversation in a different direction. You have mentioned that it is politically hijacked. Why have the youth who see this, the politicizing of the whole process, not taken a different direction with it to drive a beneficial agenda, you particularly as Nyamba?
For me, I would say this. I think the biggest problem we're having that has costed us as young people, it is simply because we have some few funny characters of young people who they are not genuine to us as young people. If today you call a meeting and you say, let us meet as young people, there is someone who come and say, that man want to achieve through us. But you are very genuine, you want to help them. But they will come up and say, and support the other people and tell them, that man want to achieve through us, so we don't have to go. So
is there hope that in your position you can actually drive the agenda among the youth?
There is hope, because I am doing it. And so I'm very determined I will do it. Irrespective of many forces that will be coming against me, I will still do it and push it to the best.
All right. I believe leadership is about conflict and being pushed, yeah?
Thank you. Ben. Thank you, Corazon. I would say that I've always championed the interest of the youths in other forums. But you see, as Kevin has said, that most of the youths are not, they are not genuine per se, because most of the youths are, you know, the main core or the main issue that the youths have become the voiceless, because you can be the voice of the voiceless, but most of the youths, in most of the cases, you find them, they are fighting, they are struggling with the issues of unemployment, the issues of self-esteem. So as far as or as much as we would like to bring the youths together, and then we make their views been listened to, but most of these youths are not even they do not even have the courage to come and speak. They just you see, most of the cases you find these youths when you organize for the forums, what they come from is that they'll come and think that maybe in this forum that they're coming to sit, instead of championing the interest or their proposals, what they're coming to seek for is maybe the handouts or what they'll be benefiting from the meeting.
So because of poverty. All right. Hello TV47, mimi ni mzee wa mtaa, anauliza pesa zao. Daktari, sijui kama huyu ni mmoja wa wazee ambao hawajapata pesa zao, sijui atasaidiwa vipi, lakini shukrani mzee wa mtaa. Daktari amekusikia vema sana. Daktari, as we come to the very tail end, sijui kama unajibu lake huyu. First of all, the two gentlemen have spoken about something very sensitive, that the youth are always going to want to be sorted out fast because of poverty. And then there's the issue of one man, one vote, one shilling. What does it really mean?
You know, let me tell you, to set matters straight, a country is defined by the population and boundaries. We don't say a country is a country because it have 50,000 residents or 50 million. We say a country is a country or a nation because of its boundary, meaning the landmass together with the population. And for a long time, we have used only one factor in distributing our resources and in electing our leaders. We have for a long time used population alone as a factor to determine distribution of resources and to determine election of our leaders. It is now high time as pastoralists, and that is what I took as a pastoralist to the task force, that we use both the landmass and the population in determining and using it as a criteria for resource allocation and for electing our leaders. We, from the pastoralist communities, are saying 1 kilometer, 1 vote, 1 shilling, or 1 acre, 1 vote, 1 shilling. But those with high population, yes, I know my friend here from Central Kenya, will say 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. But for us, it is 1 kilometer, 1 vote, 1 shilling. And we stand by that. And we will not be, that is our irreducible minimum. As for what my brother have said, the issue of wazee kutopapata pesa, it is a policy of the government. We have 30 billion for cash transfer for wazee, 70 years and above, all of them, for severely disabled persons, and for orphans and vulnerable children. So, hiyo ni yake, iko kwa sheria. But there was something that we did not really address very well on the issue of our Somali border and the issue of Al-Shabaab. You know, Safan,
yes.
Let us be progressive in our thinking. Let us think in a matter that we can secure our borders. Our KDF have not been able to secure our borders. Some of them are doing shoddy businesses in Kisimayu. Yes, we have not, our police and security agencies have not been able to secure our border. I have a very good suggestion. Yes, let us have farmers from the interior, from central Kenya. Let us take them to the border of Somali. Let us have a 5-diameter kilometer stretch along our border with Somali. Yes, subdivide into farmland. Let us give each individual 20 acres of land, farmland, give them seedlings, give them 2 blankets, give them some foodstuff to maintain them, use the money that was intended to build the wall, to build infrastructure like road and water and distribution of water, and give them AK-47. And our borders will be secure. We know that the people from Central Kenya fought for independence. Na walikuwa na panga ya rust, na mzungu alikuwa na bunduki, lakini walifukuza wazungu. Sasa hii Al-Shabaab inatusumbua nini?
Well, thank you very much, Daktari David Ole Sanko, nominated Member of Parliament and also Chair of PWDs, of people living with disabilities.
I retired honorably as a Chair, National Council for Persons with Disability. Currently, I'm the Chair of East African Council for Persons with Disability. But for the National Council for Persons with Disability, I retired on 14th May 2017 when I went to climb Mount Kenya na nikaenda huko nikaeka bendera ya walemavu huko Mount Kenya, because what Uhuru government have done for persons with disability is we are #1 in Africa. We are number 15 in the world. So nikaamua wacha, kwa sababu Mungu ametufikisha in the highest position, wacha niende niweke bendera ya walemavu huko Mount Kenya. And it is the only state corporation that have its flag next to that flag of Munyao in Mount Kenya, Lananapik. You see, any other state corporation ambayo sio watu walemavu wanataka kutupita, waenda waweke bendera yao kwa mawingu.
So many people who are talking actually related to you through the color of your suit and also through your position in that
just give me 5 minutes to say that.
10 seconds as we finish here.
Yes. First of all, is branding. You know, it is good to brand. A Moi brand using Rungu, Njomo Kenyatta brand using Fly Whiskey, and Ruto brand using the Cape. The son of Njomo does not have to brand because Kenyatta already is a brand. The son of Moi does not have to brand because Moi is already a brand. So mine is branding. And the other issue is the environment. I wear green because I want young men like the one we are with, together with you. Let us conserve our environment. Let us plant more trees so that we can go green. I also have the color of the flag because I'm a patriotic Kenyan. I'm the only student, real student of former President Moi, because Moi, his presidential flag was actually green. So and you know, Moi was a real patriot. During time of Moi, there used to be songs to Shangilia Kenya Taifa. There used to be flags in every shop. For me now, I'm a mobile closed shop with a flag on top of me so that every Kenyan can be a patriot.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for doing a great job with your chairmanship, because even up to now people still believe that, well, you did a good job there, right? And you probably are the chair. Thank you very much, Ben Ngetich and Mjamba Wameru. I believe that the young people lucky to have you who are going to drive a different agenda and unpoliticize the BBI, if that will make a difference. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is the TV47 Breakfast Show. It's hashtag TV47 Breakfast at TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on Twitter as well. Remember, the conversations go on online and even on our SMS line. Emmanuel Terere is joining me, and we have our DJ all the way from Kisumu who's going to light it up for you this morning, because we understand that it is Wednesday and I think they say it's ladies' night, right? So don't go too far. We're just about to light it up, and also we're bringing for you proper vibes that will make your morning different. My name is Corazon Stefan. Do it right here.